Okay, well, welcome everyone. This is Kai Villa and Martina Chavarria. Thank you again for visiting us. We're on a Sunday afternoon here in California, and we are doing our second episode on partner alliances conversations. I think we're calling them dialogues, perhaps better practices. It's really just time for Kai and I to share a little bit about our experiences and expertise around partner alliances work. We invite all of you who want to connect with us and share your expertise with us. We're more than happy to have other dialogues with other people. So meet us at partneralliances.com. And what I'm showing you here is just a simple process that I used in my partner alliances work, and that Kai and I are looking as kind of an anchor in terms of thinking about the process that we should all use in our partner alliances work that we have found to be super productive and helps us all to think about how to approach partner alliances. It's 5 steps. Align and prepare is the first one. We're going to be talking more about that one today. We're in our phase 2 of align and prepare. Then there is invite and commit. That is simply inviting your partner and committing to producing a partner or an alliance together. The third one is create and consolidate, which is the whole process of building out your partner alliance, consolidating into a term sheet, negotiating the key pieces of that term sheet. The fourth one is negotiate and launch, meaning negotiating that final element of the partnership and launching it into the market space. And finally, sustaining that relationship and deepening that relationship in order to be productive. Once again, we are going to be talking about basically phase 2, which is shifting from a selling to a partnering approach. So I will basically stop the sharing of the slide and we'll just talk, Kai and I. Kai, what do you think about this? Share a little bit about yourself with the group, and let's talk a little bit about this shifting from a selling to a partnering approach, and what does that mean to you, and how have you thought about it?
Yeah, Martine, thanks for having me. Kai Villa, I've been in the channel alliances and in the OEM world for the past 20 years or so. And you know, when I think about this topic, I just find that most of us are still busy pitching our product to our partners instead of focusing on what the partnership really should be about. And it's sort of like we're expecting our partners to understand on their own why partnering is a good thing based on product-based feature, function, discount, margin kind of conversations. And I think that's a sort of a fundamental mistake that a lot of us are making. And I think that's the foundation of what we want to talk about today. And that there are sort of other approaches that we could take.
Yeah, I think it's so true. It's so true. Oftentimes, I remember when I first got into my partner alliances work, it was really, we still kind of used the sort of sales approach, and it was around qualifying partners and then approaching them to try to build an alliance. But every time I went through partnerships in that way, it always felt like I had to convince someone. And I didn't want to convince them because I didn't want the power dynamic between myself and the partner to be kind of unbalanced, and wanted to figure out a way that how can we balance out the power, and instead of it being about power, what can we create together? And so, yeah, it's interesting. I can imagine in your world where you're trying to sell on people get into the selling of the features, but not really having the right conversation to enter that co-creation space that I mentioned.
Yeah, you know what? I think the other thing that happens is that when we approach partnerships based on product, feature, function type of things, that the partner may not engage because they don't see why those features or functions or products are relevant to them. And so to kind of turn the corner to another way to look at it is to maybe look at talking to the partner about what's happening in the overall market and what trends and developments are we seeing, and sort of see if we can get some engagement and interest from the partner around what's happening, where the market is going, and getting some agreement that yes, with or without us, this is where the world is turning. And that creates opportunity, and can we get some interest from them to engage on a conversation that's therefore not pitching or selling, but rather agreeing on something together.
Yeah, I really love that, because we're right now talking about still this territory of align and prepare. So it does take some time to do the research and think about what is happening in the market space. What is the opportunity in a way beyond just the two partners doing a deal together, but what's happening in which you can then bring that understanding, those trends into the conversation once you do the approach.
Yeah,
Right.
because it's always interesting to talk about the overall market, because I find that this causes, or in any relationship, or often this is the early part of the relationship where we're just starting to get comfortable with each other. It's really nice to have a conversation where you're going to agree to things together.
Oh, I love that point.
The partner naturally agrees that, oh, yes, I see this is happening in the market. And that agreement helps to build trust and comfort. And that's a great way to just get the conversation going with the partner, and they relax and they're more comfortable with the conversation because they don't feel like they're being pushed to do something.
Yeah, I really love that, what you're saying, because my experience has been that oftentimes when you come in with the selling approach and you come in with like all guns a-blazing, it puts the other person in that weird situation, or almost like the collaboration becomes, what are you going to give me? What am I going to give you? And I think you're completely right. The relationship isn't ready for that. And the relationship can be in a much better footing if the focus is on what's happening in the market space. What are we learning? How can we like agree together what's happening? And then through that agreement, find a way to work together. That's been my experience too. It's almost like a defocusing or decentralizing the focus around, what are you going to give me? What am I going to give you?
Yeah, and I always like to then turn the corner a little bit in the direction of asking the partner sort of an open-ended question of, how are you addressing this market trend and market opportunity now? Of course, if I've done my homework, I already know they're not doing anything good, they're not successful there, but I want them to admit to me that, yeah, we're not really successful there today, and that helps to then turn the corner of how could we in partnership then go after that opportunity, by combining the value of what the partner has versus, of course, what you as a vendor has to offer.
Yeah. For me, that's entering inquiry and asking questions. So not only advocating what to do, but just getting to know where they're at, what they've implemented. And that creates that exchange of just getting to know one another and sharing information.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. That seems like one of the first steps that you're talking about, which is in this shifting from a selling to a partnering approach. You're saying, okay, understand the trends, figure out what the narrative is in those trends, and be ready to share those trends with your partner when you're going to invite them or
Exactly.
bring them into a really possible awesome opportunity, entice them into an opportunity.
Yeah, and so then from there,
Yeah, what's the next one?
now it's a question of, well, how big is the opportunity, based on the partner's size, their access to a certain marketplace, maybe their installed base of customers they're already working with. Can we find a way to sort of show them the money, to really get them excited about just how enormous the opportunity is, if we were to go after this in partnership? Because this is all about, initially we created some interest, but now we need some commitment from them to actually engage with us on on multiple calls and conversations to build this out. And
Yeah, you're trying to say to them, you're trying to express or find a way to think about why would we partner together? What is the opportunity? You say, show me the money. And in my world, it wasn't always around show me the money. It was around loyalty and deepening customer value, but it all ended up, on the front of the income statement, right? It all ended up improving revenue. That was the idea. I'm sure there are other partnerships where they want to improve other things, but it's really understanding what it is that you're trying to partner, why you're trying to partner, and showing that to the partner, or starting to walk that path around what that opportunity can be.
yeah, and so, kind of coming back to the beginning of the conversation, most people approach partners on a product basis, feature, function, and price, and so on. But, now that we've sort of gone through the first two major points, there was no discussion about product at all. And I think that's really important. It should be focused on market opportunity and partnership value. And now in this third phase, now we can talk about not necessarily the product, but how we can combine the value that both organizations bring to the partnership into something unique that's differentiated, that in fact sets the two organizations up in partnership to be exactly the right team to win this opportunity in the market.
Yeah, I that third element for me is this shifting away from the selling into, and I wrote it down, doing business together. Really
Yes.
doing business together. We're not selling to one another, we're doing business together in the marketplace. And that is the idea. And so this unique value, what have you seen, or how have you approached that third pillar, let's say, or third phase, third part of this phase? How have you done that?
It's a question of really trying to go after this better together, 1+1 = 3 type of vision of showing how, when the partner combines what they do every day with what your organization brings to the conversation, how is that going to set them up to be super successful in this market? That could be access to customers. It could be combined features and functionality that in a unique way solve a business problem that is of course directly connected to the market trends that we started the conversation with. It could even be a combined services conversation of the two organizations together. So it doesn't necessarily have to be feature plus feature, right? There's multiple ways that a partnership could deliver truly unique value to the market. And so we should be open to exploring that with the partner on how do the two organizations together deliver something truly unique and differentiated.
Yeah, I like that. I really love that. Figuring out what that 2 + 2 = 5, or 1+1 = 3, or how that dynamic would work. In my partner alliances work, what we also did is we shared our partner values, and we talked with them about other partnerships that we have in the market space, how we partner, like our philosophy for partnering. Oftentimes we would share the partner process as well that we developed for Scotiabank, and that helped a lot, because then the other partners, even though they actually themselves didn't have a partnering unit, a partnering business unit, we were really working with marketing or go-to-market people, but not another partnering unit. They may not have one. So it also starts to educate the partner on how they want to learn to partner with us. Remember, you can access a company who's never done partnerships before. Who knows?
Yeah, and it's really looking at beyond products, features, and functions into what other values you can bring to the partnership overall. And that could be marketing campaigns that you bring into the conversation. It could even be sales enablement training and things like that. I'm doing a lot of sales enablement training these days because I'm finding a lot of the partners are not good sellers. They often are not good marketeers either. And so by bringing sales enablement training, campaigns and things like that into the conversation. They don't have to be branded with my organization, right? It's all about combining that with what the partner is doing and creating a combined message by the time you're done. It should not be the partner now takes my message to market. It should be the partner takes a combined value message to market. But I can bring that value to the partnership if I've prepared for it in terms of, co-branding activities and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, wow. That makes a lot of sense. So we're talking about three basic steps, right? Three sort of pillars in this shifting from a sales approach to a partnering approach. Clarifying your trends in the market space, and what is the narrative behind those trends. Building out the opportunity for the partner so that they can actually envision a potential opportunity and get a sense of what it could look like. And establishing that unique value proposition of you partnering together, of you working together towards something, and what that could look like as well. That seems like a good beginning to shifting that approach, Kai. I think it's super interesting. And we'll keep the conversation going. I know the questions around, as this comes up, as we're closing this session, what things that come up for me are the narrative, building the narrative, and establishing the way you partner by the way you act and the way you lead in the conversation. So we'll talk about more of those things in our next ones. And is there any final thoughts that you want to share with the group as we close out?
I'd love feedback, right? Is this what we're covering here of interest? What did you like? Give us a comment, give us a like, share what we've posted here with others. We'd love that feedback and look forward to seeing you online.
Yeah, that would be great. And any double clicks, if you want us to double click on one of these, or what do we mean by narrative, or the leadership practices behind inquiry advocacy that I mentioned, anything that sort of piques your interest, let us know, because, like we say, the wisdom is in the collective. So whatever you provide to us, we'll feed back, and whoever wants to support and help us all grow together, that's what we're here for. Thanks so much. And thanks, Kai. Really, again, great to see you on a Sunday.
Absolutely.
All right. Later.